Welcome, iTunes, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and everybody. We're so glad you're joining us today for Groundbreaking Vision. Groundbreaking Vision is a podcast that is live, that is about the people and ideas that are breaking through the white noise of culture and creating positive change in our world. Some of the people you'll meet are people you've known for a while, and some of the people that you don't know that are brand new. But all of these people are making an amazing contribution to the city of Dallas and changing the culture. I'm really excited about my guest today. He is a groundbreaking visionary in culture. So when I first came to Dallas in the 80s, there was one restaurant that we went to as a family that was our favorite place to go because it was warm, the food was delicious, and it made us feel special when we went in. The staff was kind and gracious, and the service was amazing, and we loved the food. We had our favorite dishes, and the name of that was Lombardi's. And it was on Hall Street, and I always remembered it as just my favorite thing about Dallas. So today I'm so lucky and honored that I'm going to be introducing you and interviewing Alberto Lombardi of Lombardi's Family Concept. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
This is such an honor.
Nice, yeah.
You have changed the restaurant culture of the city of Dallas, and we all owe you a debt of gratitude because it didn't used to be that interesting as it is now, thanks to you.
But it's been good for me too, because it's a terrific city to be with.
It is. Tell me what made you decide to make Dallas your home?
I keep saying when they ask me why Dallas, they say I got lost.
You got lost?
I didn't got lost. I came here with my girlfriend, and she got an interview to go to work for a beauty salon, and then we decided to stay.
So take us back to the very beginning of your life in Italy, what your life was like as a child. I want people to really understand how interesting and fascinating your story is. So much fun to listen to. So I want people to hear it and really understand what you brought, all of the variety of cultures and flavors and integrity of the value of service that you offer at your restaurants, and that you've built this amazing brand in Dallas. So tell me how we started. I know we're in Italy.
Well, I was born in Italy, in Forlì, in a region of Emilia-Romagna. And I learned a lot. Anyway, I grew up very, very poor, but very rich in love.
Yes.
My parents, my grandparents, you never felt you were poor. The food was there, everything was there. Everybody kisses you to death every day, and they tell you that you are the best. And I was very, very lucky. That one give you the confidence when you grow up.
Yes.
Because you feel that you are special.
Yes.
And it's very important.
Yes.
Then 9 years old, I decided to go to my best friend went to a seminary. I was going to become a monk.
Oh my gosh. So hard to imagine knowing you now.
4 years in a seminary, studying Latin, French, pretty much everything, Luckily, after 4 years, somebody threw me out from there, I lost my vocation, I think, but as an experience, maybe it was the best experience I ever had, because after that, everything was easy, because it was very tough.
Yes.
After that, I went to the hotel school.
So how old were you then when you went to hotel school?
I was about 15.
Oh my goodness, very young.
Yeah. And it was different than today. Hotel school over there is you work during the day, you go to school in the afternoon, or vice versa. Or you go to school in the morning and you work in the afternoon. You learn quite a lot over there. Then I went to do a season in Venice, a Lido di Venezia, and then I decided to go to Germany.
And what took you to Germany?
Always a young girl.
Always a young girl.
Always a young girl. And I ended up in Berlin. This was during the time where there was still the wall. This was 1966.
Yes.
And this was my first experience outside Italy. And luckily I connect with a couple of friends, and we become the best friend forever. And after 6 months, we decide to change without job, without anything. Just we get up in the morning and say, okay, what's next? And I ended up in Belgium, in
In
Brussels.
Belgium.
Brussels was maybe one of my best experience.
Tell me why.
Well, I had the fortune of meeting really two good friends. They become my best friend for life, you know. And, you know, when you travel the world, it's always nice to be with somebody close to you. Then you can help each other,
Yes.
you know. And I spent almost 3 years over there in Belgium and Brussels and Knock. Knock-les-Zout is the Saint-Tropez of Belgium.
Oh, yes.
And I used to work in at the Gallery Club. It was a very VIP club, open at 12 o'clock at night until 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And I had the pleasure of meeting Jacques Brel, Brigitte Bardot, Maurice Chevalier, Jackie Hicks. Everybody used to come over there.
Wow.
You know, it was very, very nice.
So early on, you became used to being around celebrities and
Celebrity,
high-profile
everything else, yeah.
clients. Yes.
Then one day we decide the season was finishing Knock. We say, okay, let's go to Norway. Still no job. We just pick up a Fiat 500. A friend of mine, Luciano, and I, and we drove to Oslo.
Oslo.
For the season. I mean, it was basically it was April, May, June, July, August, and very lucky over there too. You know, another beautiful experience.
And what did you do there?
Always as a waiter.
Always a waiter.
Always a waiter, yeah. Then a friend of us, the year before, went to work in this beautiful luxury line, the Saga Fjord. They used to make around-the-world cruises.
Cruises, yes.
And we went for an interview, and I was lucky enough to get the job. Still, I didn't speak any English, just French. And I remember when I entered, they put me in a cabin with a Dutch guy, and he started to talk to me in English, and I didn't understand anything. And there was next to me, there was Valdes, an Italian guy. He looked at me and he say, "What you doing over here?" I said, "I'm a waiter." I said, "I'm a busboy, I speak English." I said, "Okay, let's work together." And we started working together like this. It took me a couple of months to understand a little more, and I spent 2.5 years over there on the cruise ship
On the
too.
cruise ship.
Beautiful experience because we were 27 nationality.
Oh my gosh.
And we went to Australia, New Zealand, South America, South Africa, India, Russia, China, all the island. I mean, it was beautiful, yeah.
And did you have any kind of a grand vision of what you were going to do with these experiences, or were you just following your heart
I
and
was
your...
just more like, not even for money, for fun.
For fun?
For fun, because at this age, when you travel in this beautiful place, I mean, it's... And also because you open your eyes when you see different culture, different way of life, because at the time when you travel the world, there was a lot of poverty around. And it make you appreciate more what you have.
Yes.
Instead of thinking about what you don't have.
Yes, yes.
That was very, very good.
Yes.
Then finish over there, the cruise ship, I decided to visit USA.
What was that like, your first visit to America?
I remember the first entrance with the cruise ship from Oslo. We arrived in New York. We arrived in New York, I couldn't believe it. There was the 2 towers. They
Yes.
were still under construction.
Wow.
I still have photograph of that, the 2 towers under construction over there. I mean, it was unbelievable, being in New York. I mean, I come from a small town. I said, this is New York. It was beautiful, beautiful there.
Wow. Did you decide at that point this is where you wanted to be, or was it
No, not
a
really.
little
It never
longer?
came to my mind at that time. I didn't even think where I going to end up. My biggest dream at that time was to learn a couple of languages and go back to Italy. And go back to Italy, maybe be a maître d' or a manager in one of the hotel or restaurant. This was, everybody left Italy pretty much with a kind of dream, when they work outside the country. It just happened by itself. You never know where you end up.
And so how did you start working in America? What was your first job?
Well, in Miami. I arrived in Miami and.
Did you go from New
luckily-
York to Miami?
No, no, no. First I went all around the cruise ship. Then Miami, my cruise ship, my cruise, the last cruise ended up in Miami. And I was supposed to go to Italy. And I decided to stay in Miami. And at the time, when I was in Belgium, I met a beautiful couple, Mr. and Mrs. Kaufman. They used to have the best restaurant in Dania, Florida. And I called them. Actually, I had no coin. I called them collect. And I said, I don't know if you remember me. I met you in Belgium and this and that. And I would love to stay and work, to do a season with you here at the restaurant. She came and picked me up. She found me a place to sleep. I opened a bank account where they give you the Social Security. And I start to work over there.
Wow.
And that was a restaurant that opened only in October until the end of April. Then they close and they go back to Europe. They went back to Europe. Beautiful experience. We used to work, it was a very VIP place, meaning we work with a frack. And
Little
a
bow ties and
tie, I mean,
tucks and tails.
yeah, and I start to make $200-300 a night. I say, wow, this is easy over here. I said, you work 5 o'clock, you finish 11, 12 o'clock. This was, I used to say at the time, that's America.
I want a part of this.
And then still, I was there with my girlfriend. We decided to visit USA. I pick up one of these cards that you pick up on the newspaper, to drive to San Diego. And
You just got in the car and drove to San Diego.
to San Diego with
From Miami.
my girlfriend and her friend, the two girls and myself. We drove all the way to San Diego. By the time I was in San Diego, I pick up another car, drive my car to San Francisco. I went to San Francisco, and we arrived at night. Next day, I went to look for a job, and I went to the North Beach restaurant. The owner was Lorenzo Petroni, that he became a good friend of mine. I asked him for a position, and he said yes. And said, when can I start? He said, start right now. They told me, and I start to work right away without even jacket, just start to work. And then I find out that, Italian restaurant at the time, they were not the best restaurant. I mean, you didn't make too much tip.
Yeah.
Then
There was
I
pizza
asked-
and
yeah,
pasta.
pizza and pasta. There was
Yeah.
not. And my experience was more in French restaurant
Yes.
because I work in French restaurant all the time. And I went to work in La Bourgogne, and over there, and it was the best. Again, the best restaurant, one of the top restaurants in San Francisco. Again, with the papillote and also with the tail.
Yes.
Table service.
Yes. And how did you get to Dallas? What landed you in Dallas eventually?
Well, one day, my wife, we went to grab some breakfast. We pick up a newspaper. I think it was maybe the Dallas Time Herald or Dallas Morning News. And we look on they were looking for a European hairdresser. And I said to my girlfriend, why you don't call? Maybe they will sponsor you. And she called. We came for an interview. They sponsored my girlfriend. And we came over here with the intention maybe to go back to San Francisco, But as soon as she got the paper, then we got married. I got the paper. We had my first girl. I had to find a job, for real. This was my first. I realized then I had to figure out what to do now because it was not anymore myself. Now it was my wife
Yes.
and my kids.
Yes.
And I started to work for the Fairmont Hotel. I used to manage the Venetian room
Venetian
where
room.
all the big stars.
All the big stars.
used to
Yes.
come
We
over
have
there.
pictures of some of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
that's where you met Tony Bennett and
Tony Bennett,
Lou Rawls
Frank
and
Avalon,
Frankie
Lily
Avalon,
Tomlin,
Lily
Lou
Tomlin.
Rawls, I mean,
Yeah.
everybody. And I used to take them out, or after the show, I used to take them out somewhere.
Yes.
Very, very nice experience, beautiful.
Yeah.
And also, I was very lucky because during the time the Fairmont Hotel had the best people ever.
Mm.
The best people. I mean, management was unbelievable, you know, and I learned a lot over there too.
And that was what
You
time?
know,
About what time?
This was 74, 75.
74, 75.
No, 75, 76,
76.
managed the Venetian room.
Yeah.
Then I remember also then when Cyril Isnard gave me an interview to work at the Fairmont Hotel,
Yes.
he asked me the usual things. He say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I look at him and I say, I hope that I will have my own restaurant by then.
There's that vision. There's that vision.
And after 2 years, I opened my first restaurant, January 77, January 77,
Yeah.
I opened the first Lombardi.
Mm. And that was on McKinney?
On McKinney
On
Avenue.
McKinney.
It was
And it was just an old house?
And we opened with no money, you know, but we had to take so much per day in order to break even, and we managed to do even more and more and more. We were doing very well, but it was very difficult because I had to work from the morning till late at night,
Yes.
and I never been used to work so hard in my whole life. Then I say, okay, no more. I say, let me open another restaurant. And after not even, 1 year, I opened the Rendezvous.
Yes.
It was a
Le
French
Rendezvous.
bistro.
Yes.
Then I put a manager in one side, a manager on the other side.
Then you
I
could
start
breathe.
to breathe.
Yes. And then what happened to the restaurant on McKinney?
Then on McKinney, I was eating one night at the Riviera with my wife, and my manager called me and said, the restaurant is on flame,
Oh my gosh.
you know. We went over there, and it was a disaster, completely gone. And of course, no insurance.
No insurance.
At the
No
time when you are so
insurance.
young, you don't think about insurance. You just think about, you open the restaurant, forget about insurance.
How did
You
you,
know.
so what was that experience like and how did you recover?
Well, I had to do it very fast.
Yeah.
I find a place on Hall Street, a restaurant that just closed.
Uh-huh.
I went in, did a little remodeling, and just opened the door, because otherwise I would have lost all the customer.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
And we start
yes.
all over again over there. You know.
Yes. And that's how so many of us found you, is
Yeah,
at that
in Trattoria
restaurant.
Lombardi, you know.
Yeah.
And also because after that I always liked to be creative, meaning after I opened one restaurant, I kind of get bored. I say, okay, what next? You know, I need to do something else, you know.
Yes.
And I always try to find new location, new places. We end up having restaurant in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Captive Island, Atlanta, Phoenix, Las Vegas.
So over the
You
years,
know.
you've had 35 restaurants,
More
is that
than
right?
35,
More than
yeah.
35 that you have opened all
Yeah.
around the country.
Then we had, we were doing so well, then 9/11 came in, and all my restaurant went down 50% overnight on sale, 50%, because most of our restaurants were in convention and tourist places.
Yes.
People stopped traveling, and
yeah.
my business went
How
down.
did you handle that? That's another huge
I had to,
adjustment.
again, survival. I had to figure out what to close, what to sell, if you could sell it, and also what can I do to start all over again.
Yes.
And I remember then I started, I went to see a friend of mine, Chef Havner. You know, he was in Snyder Plaza, used to have Bistro A.
Yes. Yes.
Bistro A in Snyder
Yes.
Plaza.
Yes. I remember.
I went to see him, I say, and he was very unhappy with the restaurant, and I said, why you don't give it to me? I gave him a check. I changed the name, I changed a little bit, I call it Penne Pomodoro.
Yes.
And after 16 years, he's still over there, he's becoming almost like an institution.
Totally.
You know.
Yes.
over
Totally.
there.
A family institution.
And I decided, instead of going open this big restaurant, to open restaurant more for where people live, neighbor place.
Yes.
You know, because even if there is something else happen, everybody has to go out. You know, you don't have to travel anywhere.
Yeah.
And we opened, then I opened Taverna, then I opened Toulouse.
Toulouse.
Then I end up going to Austin. Then we end up going to Houston again.
Yes.
Now
I
we
just
are
went
in
to the new
Vegas,
restaurant in Houston a few months ago with
Yeah.
my friends. They were so excited to have
Yeah.
their own Toulouse in Houston and
Yeah, it's
River Oaks.
beautiful over there. Very, very nice.
Beautiful. And Houston loves it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
becoming one of the most popular restaurants in Houston.
Which is
River
not a
Oaks,
small
you
thing
know.
in Houston.
Yeah,
That's an
is.
eating crowd.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
dining crowd.
And then, I mean, the good part, then I stay in Dallas. Dallas is a great, great city and full of positive people.
Yes.
And it reminds me a little bit of my own region.
Mm.
My own region, there is a say. When you go to Italy, when you travel and you ask for a glass of water, and they give you a glass of water. When you arrive to a place where you ask for a glass of water, they give you a glass of wine, you are in Emilia Romagna. That's the say, because they are very warm people.
Very warm.
Very warm people.
Yes.
And Texas is the same.
Yes.
You
And
know.
you have brought such a warmth to all of your restaurants. And you have 19 now.
Yeah.
Correct? And there is a warmth, and you've had people, when we were talking about the show last week, you introduced me to someone that's been working with you for 35 years. So
Yes,
your
we
employees
have,
stay with you. It is a family.
Yeah, we have almost 60 people that been with me from 35 years to 15 years.
Wow.
You know. And the key is pretty much, you know, because I work as a busboy, as a waiter, I know that if somebody treat me bad, I wouldn't stay too long.
Yes.
I wouldn't be a good employee, you
Yeah.
know. And it's very important that we have a management of respect.
Yes.
And also each restaurant is an individual restaurant. We don't treat it as a corporation. It's a family restaurant.
That's why it's called Lombardi Family Concepts.
Each restaurant is by itself.
Yes.
You know, we don't send the same memo to everybody because everybody is different.
Yes.
And when there is something, we talk personally. We don't send memo, we don't send anything,
Yeah.
you see. We do it in a personal basis.
Yes.
And this is the most important things.
Yes, and it
Yeah.
feels like that in every
Yeah.
one of your restaurants. And now I understand why you have so many different flavors. You have the sushi bar and the French restaurant, and Taverna the Italian, Toulouse the French, and Kai, that's your newest concept, right?
Kai, then is Asian fusion. We're going to have a beautiful robata. Actually, it's one of my favorite food to eat. I love sashimi more than sushi, but I do it a little bit Italian style. Olive oil, lemon, and sea salt.
Ooh.
You know,
Yeah.
because sometimes when you put soy or ponzu,
Yeah,
it takes away the
it takes away
taste.
from the flavor.
Yeah, from the
yes,
flavor of
from the natural
fish, yeah.
fish, the fresh fish.
Yeah.
Well, now I think we can all understand why every restaurant is so unique and so warm. And I also want to thank you for all the contributions that you made to the city of Dallas. I produced Accessible Luxury and other shows, fashion shows and events for years for
Yeah.
Texas Scottish Rite Hospital, and you were always so generous to offer us
Well, we've been,
food and a restaurant
yeah.
station within the event.
We've been
You're
so
very
lucky to be
generous.
over here, and it's such a beautiful city, and also because I like to, instead of receiving, I like to give back a little bit, you know, and I think that there is a great pleasure when you give back, especially to the needed. Yeah.
Well, thank you for being one of the great visionaries of Dallas and changing the restaurant scene and making it warmer and more delicious across the board in all of your restaurants. And thank you
Yeah.
for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoy it.
If there was
you.
one thing that you would want young entrepreneurs to know, what would that be?
Well, first thing is they need to travel, because when you travel, when you go in different country, you open your mind, you open everything. You start to see life in a different way, not only like Texas, but you start to see how do Italian live, how do the French live, how do the German live, you know, and you can get so many ideas that you can bring over here and to say, wow, maybe this new idea that I have will work over here too.
Which you
know.
absolutely did.
Yeah,
And you changed the city of Dallas.
that is important.
Thank you. Thank you for being
Pleasure.
here. Thank you for joining us at Groundbreaking Vision. If you have a story that you really want to tell, we'd love to help you tell it. If you have a story about your groundbreaking vision in your business and you're changing the city of Dallas and the culture, let us know. Thank you for tuning in.